You will never possibly believe it, but the sketchbook that you're seeing on the screen, my goal for it was to finish it within a month, and the month is not over yet. Because I started this sketchbook on the last day of December, I think. So the goal is to finish it by the end of January. And I think I'm doing pretty well so far. But other goals for the sketchbook, I'm looking around in my physical space to see where I've left the sketchbook. But other goals for the sketchbook included doing a lot more figure studies and things, doing more experimental type things in here, really focusing on practicing art, and ideally I wasn't going to create any new characters. I'll end up talking more in depth about the characters I created in the sketchbook, when it's time for the sketchbook tour, because on screen you're just seeing me, finish some pages, so I'm doing some sketching, doing some colouring. Do I use oil pastels in this video? I think I do. Um, I use Faber-Castell oil pastels. They're the oil pastels I've been primarily using, but I did just recently get some new oil pastels, so there will be videos with those new oil pastels coming up, probably soon, because I have realised that I have neglected doing art videos. But yeah, the goal was to do figure studies, colour studies, testing new art methods, and to finish by the end of January, and I think I'm pretty on track to finish by the end of January. So this sketchbook, the goal was to not make any new characters. I didn't put that in the front of the sketchbook as one of the goals, but it was one of those unwritten goals. But there have been new characters created. There's a character at the front that I haven't even given the character a name, so I guess they don't really exist, because I don't know if I'm going to draw them again, because they've got two drawings in here, and then never again. And then I'm also sticking some digital art that I've drawn over this month in there. I need to print out more of it and stick it in there, because I have gaps that putting a sticker of my digital art would fill. But yes, I created a new character named Hel, H-E-L. I don't know if that's how you meant to pronounce it, and created a new type of character, because I'm going to eventually work on a comic called Angelman. You can see I've been also trying to do daily shorts. I've failed. I'm going to catch up on all of those eventually. I need to catch up on them before the end of the month. I have a lot of things I need to do before the end of this month. I'm just a fan of setting myself too many goals in too short of a time. But there are now historians, and the historians work typically in the same buildings as the priestesses, and Hel is one of them. Hel, Helena, and Lena. Their names are all matchy-matchy. But they work together, they are buds, they are pals. But yeah, Lena and Helena are the other two characters that were created in the sketchbook. Helena has a girlfriend named Ophelia. Ophelia was also created in the sketchbook, as a treat. And then Ophelia's got two brothers, so I have to come up with names and designs for them, obviously. And then there's also... I'm flipping through the sketchbook as I talk so I can actually see what I'm talking about. And, I've got 23 minutes of talking. I have plenty of time. There's also Lovette. Actually, I don't know if I did come up with Lovette in the sketchbook. She might have appeared in another one. Is Lovette's pronouns that? I've forgotten my own character's pronouns. I tend to, when I come up with a new character, I'll come up with a design, and then as I'm drawing them multiple times throughout a sketchbook, I'll add notes and random comments to them each time I draw them. And that does mean sometimes I will put their pronouns next to them, but that doesn't always mean I'm going to remember my own character's pronouns, and sometimes I don't even write pronouns down, so it's like, this character has no canonical pronouns, so I end up, the pronouns probably change a few times just over the course of me eventually deciding and actually writing down what pronouns this character is going to have. So far, the universe of Angelman has a lot of femme presenting characters. It is a flaw, maybe. I don't know, I'm not that good at drawing mass characters. I don't enjoy drawing more masculine, more male presenting characters. Like, the likelihood of me drawing a cis man is very, very low. I have one character who is a cis male, but they might be a male, but they certainly don't present or dress that way. And then we have... I didn't see Lovette's pronouns while I was swiping through these pages. Ophelia has 2 brothers, and then she also has a younger sister. Where's the younger sister? I'm looking through the book still. The younger sister's name is Sybil. So, Ophelia is 27. She is a triplet, so her and her 2 brothers, they're triplets. And Ophelia, when she was younger, she wanted to be a priestess. That did not end up working out. And her younger sister Sybil is 24 years old, and Ophelia, as I said, is dating one of the historians. Sybil is another character who was created over the course of this sketchbook, you know, as a treat, as a little treat. You can never have too many characters, and I really like Sybil, so I end up... there's just several pages of Sybil. Because Sybil is fun. My new favourite pen lately has been this multicoloured pen. I think I use it in this video that you're watching. It is the big purple pen with multiple colours in it that says woof and meow. I also attempt to use gouache paint on one page, and then it just makes the page way too soggy, so I end up having to abandon that. But Sybil, her parents wanted her to be a priestess. They didn't want Ophelia to be a priestess, which is, you know, kind of why Ophelia didn't end up becoming a priestess, because she just felt very pushed away from that notion. She didn't have any kind of support in her desire to become one, and typically in the universe of Angelman, their training and journey to become a priestess starts at a really young age, so without any support from her parents, it would have been very difficult for Ophelia to become a priestess. Cleo, it's very common in the Angelman universe, apparently, for characters to be orphans. And Cleo, I think she was probably an orphan from a young age, so that's probably what a big part of why she became a priestess. There's another 3 characters, Hedda, Hadley and Hazel. They're 3 sisters, and Hedda is a priestess also, and their parents are also dead, because as I said, this universe has a lot of dead parents. It's just the type of work everyone does, they deal with dead people. Accidents happen, you know. By dead people I mean like ghosts, angry ghosts even. So they've got a bit of a death rate there. So both both Hedda and Cleo kind of went into being priestesses for similar reasons. I mean, Cleo, I don't think she has any siblings, but Hedda has 2 sisters, and she probably felt kind of a bit of pressure, like she felt like the sisters were relying on her, and she didn't want to be at home. She ended up going down that path to become a priestess, just in a way to avoid home. And Sybil, she never wanted to be a priestess. She didn't even want to be particularly part of that world, and she is only tangentially part of that world now because of knowing people who are in it, and the fact that her older sister is not part of that world beyond dating a historian. And Sybil is friends with another character named Anchovy, and Anchovy is part of that world, sort of. Anchovy's more part of it than what Sybil and Ophelia are. And Anchovy is non-binary. I do draw Anchovy in this video, I think. And Anchovy is in the field, sort of, but also doing education to pursue a job outside of the ghost handling thing. So, you know, who knows where they'll end up. They might end up staying in the business and just be very overqualified, who knows. But despite Sybil and Ophelia's parents wanting Sybil to be a priestess, while not having while a character not having their parents' support to become a priestess can really push them away from it, it doesn't matter how much parents try to pressure someone into their daughter, or yes, their daughter into becoming a priestess. The person who is going through the training has to actually want the training and has to actually want to be doing it. Otherwise, it just doesn't really come into fruition. Like, they have to be putting in the work, not just being pressured and shoved along. It really doesn't work like that. So Sybil ended up not becoming a priestess, and I haven't actually thought about what kind of role Sybil and Ophelia's parents are going to have in the story, because I think Sybil and their two brothers probably still live at home in the family house, because Sybil, Ophelia, and the two brothers are related to another couple characters. I mean, not another couple characters. They are related to Dorothy. I'm forgetting my own character's name. Dorothy. Hold on, I'm looking in my sketchbook at my own notes. Yes, they are related to Dorothy, Adeline, and Yulia. So they're in the same family, but Adeline and Yulia tend to be considered higher up in a way. Like, there is definitely a hierarchy in who's important within a family, and while their family in general is considered to be an important family, Adeline and Yulia are kind of quote-unquote main branch and more important than other members of family. But they are related, and each kind of branch of the family tends to have like a estate, so to speak, and I think Sybil and the two brothers still live at that estate, but Ophelia and Helena, they live in an apartment that is actually in the same building as Dorothy's apartment. So, of course, they know each other, because Ophelia and Dorothy are related somehow. They don't know the exact way they're related. Like, they're probably distant cousins, maybe third or fourth cousins at closest. But then Dorothy, she's like a third or fourth cousin to Adeline and Yulia. Like, she's not a close relation. But that's probably most of the family there. They know they're related, but they don't always know the exact specifics. I mean, Helena probably knows the exact specifics, because that would be something they would keep track of. Like, very much, they keep their histories on point. They know a lot of history about their families and about the work they do with the ghosts. And there is a lot of ghosts. People like ghosts. But yeah, then there is also, of course, Anchovy. There's also Lena. Lena is the oldest of the historians, I think. Actually, I don't know how old Hel, H-E-L, is. I don't know that I wrote anything on the page about her. Yeah, it just says on the page about Hel, historian can usually be found in the archives, bad with technology. I have nothing else about Hel here. Do I even have Hel's name written down anywhere? Because I'm not seeing it. When did I decide her name was Hel if I didn't even write it down? Mystifying. But yeah, this little sketchbook, it's just a cheap sketchbook from Kmart. I got a pack of 5 sketchbooks, and then I ended up buying more of them, so I have like tons of these sketchbooks. So you're probably going to see like a lot of these cheap little sketchbooks this year. And a lot of me using that multicolored pen, because I really like the multicolored pen. It is a lovely pen. I love the pen. The pen is also from Kmart. It is from this brand Sugar Rush, and Sugar Rush does like these stationery sets, and I really love them because they're scented stuff. Like, it's just pens and markers and that kind of thing. And the thing I use most is clearly this multicolored pen, where I do have like a whole bunch of other scented art supplies. I just, don't use them as much. So, R.I.P. me, I should clearly use those more often. Because why get all the smelly art supplies and then not use them? And then in this video I also draw another character. I don't know if I start creating this character during the video, but her name is Natasha. She is friends with Ophelia and Helena. She lives somewhat nearby them in her own apartment, but I haven't decided how she ties into the rest of the story. Like, I don't know if she's in the ghost business, or if Helena and Ophelia met her through other ways. I haven't decided. But yeah, that is a small amount of characters that got created just in the sketchbook. Um, to reiterate, one of these pages it seems to be coming out of the sketchbook. I'm going to need to do something to stop that. So, Helena, Hedda, Lavette, Ophelia, Hel, Lena, Sybil, Natasha, Anchovy. None of those characters existed before I began this sketchbook, and I need to stick some stuff in there. You can see me using clear sticky stuff occasionally in my sketchbook. That is to make the page stay in, because again, this is a really cheap sketchbook and I'm throwing a lot at it. The pages are not amazing at actually staying in the sketchbook, and definitely I've lost a couple of pages throughout the quest of making the sketchbook. So by the time the sketchbook is finished, I don't think it will have all of the original pages. I'm just sticking something sticky in to stick the last page so it will stay in, and then I will find out how many sheets it exactly has, because I do have it written in the front of the sketchbook, and you will definitely probably see and hear this information reiterated when I do a sketchbook tour, because I'm sure you just love hearing the same information twice. But yes, this is 50 sheets, so that's 100 pages, page either side. I really love using this multicolored pen because, I can do this, I can do a first layer of sketch in like the lightest colour. The lightest colour is the yellow is too light, you can't really see it, so I can do a sketch in like orange, and then I can use red to do a firmer sketch, and then I can go over the whole thing with one of my erasable pens, either blue or purple. I love the purple ones, but I've been using that turquoise one more often. I got a penguin pen, they're from Legami. I love Legami's pens. The plastic on them just feels so nice and soft, and I think it's delightful. You can also see I've been sticking stickers in the sketchbook. But back to the sketchbook. It is 50 sheets, it is 6 inches by 8 inches, and it is 80 GSM, which is a pretty thin paper. You definitely can't use gouache just straight onto it. When I do use gouache in here, it's because I've stuck enough of that clear sticky stuff on the opposite side to make the page kind of firmer and less likely to warp, or I've just stuck a piece of card on the other side of the paper, or on the piece I'm painting on. So I definitely use a lot of little random tricks throughout the sketchbook to make the page more firmer and able to stand up to me using either gouache or washi tape, or not washi tape, or oil pastels or anything else. But definitely I have a lot of pages where it's just me sketching in one colour, or me sketching using this multicoloured pen, because again, I love the multicoloured pen. It is my favourite thing in the world. Last year, my sister, for her birthday, I got her a couple of the Scented Sugar Rush stuff packs, and so she has these pens too, and I hope she likes and uses them a lot because I like them, so I would hope she would use them. Another character I was drawing in here was Freyder, and Freyder in the universe she is a doctor, and I think she's neat. I think there's another character who's also a nurse. I can't remember who it is. Because I do try. I find it's a lot of the time when you look at stories you see being told online, there's a lot of teenagers, or I guess in young adult novels in general, or just anywhere where there's stories, there's a lot of teenagers, and I've been trying to skew some of my characters a little bit older. Like Freyder is 34 years old, and she is a surgeon, and I've had characters that are in their late 20s, like I am in my late 20s, Natasha is 28, Anchovy is still pretty young, she's 23, but I'm avoiding any characters being outright teenagers. Ophelia is 27, and obviously Ophelia's two brothers would also be 27 because they're triplets. They are actually identical triplets, but Ophelia is a trans woman, so that is why she does not look like her identical triplets, because, she's been on HRT, she's been out and about as trans and in the world for quite a while, so obviously she is not going to look like her brothers anymore. But even then it would be, fine if she did. I have been out and about in the world as a trans person for a long time, but I definitely don't really I don't make efforts to pass, shall we say, because I don't really identify solidly as a man. I'm just queer. Ambiguously queer. If you're confused looking at me, that's kind of the goal. It's fine. You don't have to understand any specifics of me or my presentation or gender. Just know that I have my pronouns I use, they, them, or he, him, or even it, its, if you're not using it in a mean way. Actually, even if you're using it in a mean way, I don't really care. Because if you're being mean to me, I don't... As long as you're not using she, her, I really don't give a shit. Like, those are the only pronouns I do not accept. You can use any neo-pronouns you like to refer to me. As long as I understand that you are referring to me, I do not care. It's just one set of pronouns I do not allow. That is it. The only rules. I might find it a bit weird if you refer to me like as puppy. You know, pup self. Because I'm not a puppy. I'm a bunny. If I have to be any animal, I'm a bunny. Not that I've drawn my first owner in a long time, because I definitely need to practice drawing anthro characters. That is something I've never done much practice with. You can see in my sketchbook what I draw the majority of. This is what comes to me naturally. Anthro characters are not it. For I'm looking forward to Art Fight again this year. I'm always looking forward to Art Fight. I wish Art Fight was forever, but at the same time I don't, because then I would just be stressed constantly, because I'm always very much... I don't know how to put it. It's like, I want to do as much as I can for Art Fight, but at the same time, my amount of art I can do without just burning out is a lot lower than it used to be. Like a few years ago, I used to be able to spend most of my time drawing and be fine with that, but I very much cannot do that now. Like, I do a lot of sketching in my sketchbook, but my output of digital art is way lower than it used to be, and I tend to feel a little bit bad if I do traditional art, because as much as I enjoy traditional art and like the look of my traditional art, I don't know how other people feel about my traditional art, and are they disappointed to see my traditional art? Who knows? I'm not disappointed to see my traditional art, and I find it very satisfying when I finish a sketchbook and get to look back and go, oh, I did all of this art, and it's going to be extra satisfying when I finish this sketchbook and look back and go, ooh, I did all of this art, I finished this entire sketchbook in a month. And no doubt you will be seeing so many more of these little Kmart sketchbooks, because I have so many of them. But thank you for listening to me ramble. If you were drawing or doing anything today while listening, feel free to comment about it. Let me know about your art goals for this year, your art goals for this month, or just your art goals in general. And yeah, see you next time. Thank you.